And we are here today doing a foil placement. This is a holiday blonding and glossing segment. So we have, I know I'm very excited about it, and it's really quick. You got 4 sections, really fast. So this is our starting right here. I want to show you this. So this is our starting, here's our face. This is our starting, so this is her starting level. And then what I did is I went ahead and did the technique last night on this side. So this side, once we're finished with our foiling, we're gonna gloss this side. So this is the effect that you're going to be learning. It's a lived-in effect, and there's a way of changing this up. I went dramatic, where I took it from the darker all the way, so I gave it a lived-in, almost like a ombre type of finish. Now you can totally change this, and we'll talk about it when we are working, but let's go to the subsection. So I am gonna turn her back around. Let's talk about the subsectioning before we start our placement. So this team is our subsectioning, and what we're going to do is drop the picture of the subsectioning into the feed so that you can download it, put it on your phone, and you can use it later. So subsectioning is super simple. It's from ear to ear, so you can see from ear to ear, dun, dun, dun. We're working with a straight part. So if your person has a side part, you would take that into account and then just subsection these up. And this is what's really interesting about this. If this were what I would want to do back in the day before we did money pieces, I would take this section piece, let me make a little line right there. That's what the subsection would look like. But see that little piece right there? I'm gonna show you. I like this, and you can see, I like this piece. Let me turn her a little bit. You can see where she has a bold piece through the front, right there. That is from having this wide.
That's like a good inch section.
That's a really good inch. And this is what I do. I
inch?
do it to their face. I customize placements to people's faces because these two mannequins are completely different. You can see the head shape's different, the texture, all of it's different. I'll take it's kind of like getting your eyebrows done. I'll take the pintail comb and just add a really nice angle, find right where the eyebrow arch is, and that's where I start that part.
Great tip.
So there you go. That would be that. And that would be a really nice bright money piece when they pull their hair back. They'll have it really bright, and it's actually made for their face.
It's a confident piece.
Confident piece, and it's complementing their face.
Question real quick, what would you take into consideration if people had whorls or cowlicks right in their hairline or a strong growth pattern?
I would still do the same. I would still take into consideration that they do, but most of the time people will either blow dry them out or it works with it. So if it just pops up, then it'll just expose the brightness. But again, if you do this with their face shape, it'll be their money piece will actually accent their face versus it being a weird thing.
Awkward.
Yeah.
Got it.
So then what we do here is we come back around, and it's more of a smile. It's more of a smile. It's not like a deep, strong V. You can see this is wider. Normally I work with a subsection where it's more of a strong V like so. So this time what we're doing is we're really working around the parietal ridge. So just think about the parietal ridge, and we have a little baby dip right there. So this is the subsection, and again we have these 2 knotted off, and then the 2 sides knotted off, and the split in 4s.
All right, awesome.
So we're gonna drop the head sheet so you can use this. And team, quite frankly, I really believe subsections are subsections. It's what you do within those subsections that give you the effect of your end result.
Like the chunky money piece.
Like the chunky money piece. So here she has her chunky money piece. And what we did is we did a little trick. We made it soft so that if she pulls her hair back, you can't see like a really strong line. So I'm gonna show you how to make that soft.
Sweet.
And then what we did is we went right behind it, and that's where you can see the boldness start to pop in there.
Your 1 inch.
Yep, and that's where we're going. I'm gonna show you how to do that. All right.
Great.
Now, one thing that I wanted to show you as well is you can see how it's higher in the front, and then as you start to come back, all of this drops. So we're actually creating a shadowed root within the placement so that you don't have to go back and shadow it out.
And you can really upcharge for that because it's awesome.
It is awesome. It saves time. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So I will clip this back because this is for our second segment. Yes, get it out of the way. Let me move her. So today what we're going to be using is our silver powder lightener. And our silver powder lightener gives, color space, gives you 9 levels of lift. So that is what we're going to be using in the foils, and we are going to do a foil. And if you want to check this out, Kel, this is the color. This is our silver powder lightener, and it does have a silver hue to it, so you can see it inside the bowl. It has a silver color to it, and it's super, let me show you this. Look at the texture of this. It's so beautiful.
Whoa.
Yes, so this is our silver powder lightener, and this does give us 9 levels of lift.
Which is different from the gum-based
Yes, which is
lightener,
green.
which is green.
Yes, and it is a gum base, and it has it encapsulates moisture into the hair. This one, team, is the one that is, you want some lightness. Here we go. All right, so these are our subsections. So let me get this. So I am going to start in this section, work into this section. Next, I'll start in this section, and everything is going to be pulled forward. So we'll talk about when and why. We're going to talk about some tips on our seamless transitions. Here we go. All right.
Oh, your business partner Ray Chavella is watching.
Hello, Mr. Ray.
There's a prompt to say bring them on video. I'm fighting back. I want to press them. Bring him on video.
Bring him on video. Hey, Ray. All right, that is like the man behind the scenes. He is my business partner. This is the most brilliant man, businessman, mentor, innovator. He's amazing,
So
and
nice
he
to have
just
you watching with us.
Yes, congratulations to Ray. He just launched. We just launched Bob. If you want to get tied into some of the products right there, Bob was just launched. Back of bottle. Get on some Instagram. Back of bottle. And you will see the most amazing product. And that's what I'll be using today to style our mannequins.
Super fun. Congratulations,
Yes.
team.
All right, back to here. So the first thing we're gonna do, so earlier I said if you looked on the other side, we did something that made it really graceful so that she could still pull her hair back and it looked really nice and soft. And once the mannequin, we dropped the hair down, you could see that big, bold face frame. So this is what we did. And I went ahead and started while Kel and I were setting up. So I did one foil. I did a micro weave with some back combing. And then that's just one on either side, one on the very front and one on the side, and that's it. So now what we're going to do is we're gonna start on this very bottom section. So if you are thinking about, if you're creating too many horizontal lines, something that doesn't blend, these are the tips that I'm going to share with you. So we're gonna be working in diagonal big partings. So my first diagonal part is almost like splitting this little square in half diagonally. So here it is. I'm gonna split that in half. I'll move this up and over. I wanna make sure I work nice, neat, and clean. I'll take this and I'm going to weave either with my pintail or my finger. So I have 2 pieces here. So I have an option. I can weave both, I can put both of them in the foil and create that really big ombre effect that I did, or I can leave one out and just do one. I'm gonna do both.
That's because you want to mimic your very bold other side.
I wanna mimic the very bold other side.
And
so
if you wanted it more mellow,
I could
leave
leave
it
one out. Okay, so I'm gonna pull this one back. This is our first one. The first thing you're going to do is read the haircut. We talked about this in a couple of our previous lives. So what I'm going to do is the same. So here we go, team. If you look at this haircut, if I'm standing right here and I back comb, I'm gonna create a horizontal line. If you look at this haircut is done at a diagonal. And I want you to think about hair cutting. If you're a cutter and you do color as well, if you were gonna stand here to create this line and have it travel when it drops, you wanna do the same thing with color.
it's more seamless.
It is seamless. And the next thing you're going to do, you have 3 choices, and going back to hair cutting. So, one, we're gonna look at the haircut, that's step number 1. The next thing I need to think about, do I want this to just be on the tip? Do I wanna go halfway? Or do I wanna take this all the way to the root? So this is the question you have to ask myself. One of these is gonna go down, because I just want the tip. The other one is gonna go higher to the root. Okay, so I'm gonna pull this way. I want this lower. I'm thinking about chin right there. And I wanna make sure every time I pull, I'm gonna accentuate some part of her face, their face. So if I'm standing here, holding this down, I'm gonna rough up right where the chin is. Not back comb, but I'm just kind of like moving that so I can get some back combing. Okay, so then I'll push 1 inch past where her chin, where I know I want the highlight to start. You never start down here if you're doing tipping. If you start down here and you push up, watch what happens. You're going to take away too much and you don't have that much left. So let me take this down. Let me take this down again. And there's another tip I'm gonna give you now. Okay, ready? I read the haircut. I pulled it. I'm looking at what I'm gonna accentuate. This one's gonna be the lower one. So I'm going to rough up where I want the highlight to start, because I'm gonna move it 1 inch past, because I'll put my product on, and this is my blend line. Most people will place it, paint, and then fold it up. What you wanna do is actually blend it when you're painting. So let's do one. So I looked at the haircut, over directed, stood so that it's flat to my fingers, like as if I cut it right here. I'll slide it, I put my pintail in, roughed it up, pushed 1 inch past where I want to see the highlight, so I have 1 inch. And there's a tip, I'm gonna show you this. If you're not sure what an inch is, you can prep your foils and use it as a ruler. So you've got 1 inch there. So let me replace this foil with this foil so you can see what I'm talking about. So check it out. Let me drop that. So I would use this as a ruler. So from here down, I would place my product.
Just as if you're like developing your eye.
Yeah,
or...
yeah, developing your eye. If you're a newbie and you're like, well, what's an inch? Here you go. Okay, so now I'll apply my product, pick up my product. There's my 1 inch ruler. Pull it down, make sure it's really nice and saturated, but you have to roll it back and forth. If I lift this hair up, you can see that if there's any silver, look at that. I didn't get great saturation there.
Uh-oh.
Yep, so you would have little hollow spots. Look at the back of that. So this is the trick, team. Let me wipe this off. Here we go. Apply it. Make sure it's good and saturated. So your brush, I'll apply with my brush flat. Love my brush. Okay, I'll talk about my brush in a minute. So apply it. Next, you're gonna swing it into vertical and roll it back and forth. What I'm doing is I'm moving the hair.
Separating
it, yeah. And I'm pushing it, and you can see how almost the product starts to disappear. Can you see that? Like the hair sucked it up. So I'm gonna grab a little bit more. I wanna make sure, whenever I'm coloring hair, especially hair that's a little bit porous, I'll let it kind of breathe for a little bit before I fold it up. And the reason why is so that it can actually, it's absorbing into the hair. I wanna make sure that there's a lot of product on there. All right, so that's it. Now, ready? This is the brush up. So this is that 1 inch. All I'm doing is lightly pulling it up. Just real lightly pull it up. And that's that 1 inch piece. Okay, so this is our first. You can leave it down, you can fold it up, you could do whatever you want. I'm gonna fold it up just for the sake of being clean. Normally when I'm working and I wanna work fast, I'll just lay them down and then at the end I pull everything back. All right, so this is our first foil. So I'm gonna just put those on just to hang on to them. There we go. Now, our second, this is the negative space of this. So I have my shadow. You can see there's shadow. This one, I'm gonna look at the haircut. So watch what I'm doing here. I'm gonna walk until that is flat to my finger. This straight out. Now think about this. A 0 is holding it down. If you were cutting hair and you were holding it down, it's the heaviest that you're gonna get. So it's only gonna let you put back home a little bit. This one I'm pulling out at a 90. This one's straight out from where it grows. And think about when we do that. So I'll rough it up before, I'll backcomb. I'm not backcombing, I'm just kind of like using the texture, the natural texture on American, yeah. Using her natural texture. Okay, so now that this is backcombed, pulled it straight out, I'm going to push this down
Just
gently.
kind of pack it in a
and
little
look
bit.
at how I'm rocking it back and forth. I'm just gonna rock it back and forth. What this does, this will help keep that hair down.
And it's less messy. It kind of pulls everything out of the way.
Yeah, it pulls it out of the way. Okay, this you really don't have to worry about your 1 inch, but listen to my words. I'm going to over direct it from where it grows because I want to push that back comb out of the way. This is a fun way of doing it. Pull it back halfway down the hair shaft. Watch how my hands just flipped and I grabbed that hair. My pintail comb is going up to the ceiling. This hand is pulling it down to the floor. My dismount is going to follow the head shape, and then I am pushing all of this hair. Look at those little fuzzies. Getting them out of the way, because I'm counting on those to help me with giving me a really nice seamless finish. When I uncomb these, it's gonna shatter that line. So even if you need a little bit of assistance, you can use a flat clip. I use the star clips, Kel.
There's the NBAA and then there's the duck or skinny clips.
Yes, I like the flat ones I like these
Are they the ones
to subsection. We were talking, part of our segment is to talk about tools as well. These are great for subsection.
Oh, those are the NBAA.
Yes, these are great for
Those are the duck.
helping. You can clip on foils because they're not heavy.
Yes, the smooth ones are the duck.
Okay, so now here we go. I'm applying, making sure it's really nice and saturated. My brush, watch me flip it. I'm spinning it vertically and I'm holding my hand up against the head. If you use a board, that's great too. I think boards are pretty cool. I use my hand. Okay, so here I'm rolling it back and forth and you can see the products getting absorbed into the hair. That's when I know I need to add more. So watch how I'll apply. That's why our powder lightener. So let me tell you one thing that the hair does.
Juicy and
It is
smooth.
juicy. That's the best word for it. And it's because our developer is shea butter. Come on, who doesn't like shea butter? The hair loves shea butter. It sucks it up. And juicy is the perfect word. It just glides. You can see how it's just gliding into the hair. Check that out. So now you can see how nice this is saturated. That to me is saturated.
100. There's no surprises there.
No surprises here. So I'm going to fold. So we have our first set. So we had a lot of direction in that. So now I'm going to keep moving. One thing that I like to do to lock the foils in, once I push this down, watch my comb and my fingers. I'll lock the foil in like so. Lock the foil in like so. That way it doesn't slide. So
it could be a little bit on the heavy side.
It is on the heavy side. You saw that product that I put in there? Whew. All right, so we've got one low and one high. Now team, look at the shadow that's happening already. That's the shadowed root right there. Okay, so let's go to our second one. So now I'm gonna keep working because I've already described, I'm just gonna go for it. I'm gonna use the same words. So I'm gonna take the hair, I'll do a strong weave effect. All right, drop that down. So this, I'm gonna show you another way of doing this. So this one, I'm gonna leave for now. We're gonna grab it in a bit, but I'm gonna leave this for now.
And maybe if you wanted it like an extra chunky look, would you put like maybe a low light on that?
You could totally put a low light on that. If they came in with already blonded hair,
And they want high contrast.
totally.
But not quite the zebra effect.
Yep. Okay, so we're gonna leave this low one out for a second because I'm gonna show you a quicker way of doing this. And this is something that I did last night. Normally, I would approach it low and then high. Well, last night when I was preparing, I was like, what if I did this? And this is what I'm gonna show you. Okay, here we go. So this is the high one. I'm gonna pull it out of follow the head shape. Okay, let's apply our product. Apply our product, make sure it's really nice and saturated. And you can see how this hair it just drinks it up. So I'm gonna twist my brush. And the beauty about the brushes, team, the Color Space brushes, see the little pivots that are on there? When I say spin it, I doing hair for 41 years, what I learned was my brushes meant a lot to me, not just the bristles, because we always think about the bristles, but the handle and how they work in our hands is everything, and I'll tell you why. Here I'm applying with my brush flat to the hair. Now watch my fingers. I'm spinning it. This, team, is meant for our fingers right here. So my body doesn't move so that I could spin the brush, just my hands. Not my wrist doesn't move, just my fingers. So this is a they're all the brushes are amazing, and I'll show them to you right now. We had an industrial engineer watch us work, and he actually designed them for us. So I love our brushes. Okay, so I'm gonna roll it back and forth, roll it back and forth. Here we go. Let's put that down, fold this up. Okay, lock it. So here we go, we're gonna lock, lock, lock.
Oh, while you're finishing up that packet, I gotta give a special shout out to the Color Space team.
Hola.
Who is with us in the comments. They just dropped the link to the brushes. So thanks so much, Color Space team.
All right,
are the best.
So we're gonna come back to this in a sec. Now we're gonna keep working. I'm going to take this and do the same thing. So here we go.
On the larger section, are you cutting it in half, or are you thirdsing it?
No, just, you mean in the
right
diagonal?
Uh-huh.
Yes, in thirds. Yes.
With the bigger section.
With the bigger section. So you can see how I thought you meant cut that in half this way. So again, I want to make sure I'm standing in the right place, be good for my body. I'm going to ask her, lady, can you please put your ear to your right ear to your right shoulder? So she's tilted away from me. So now this has opened up. Now you can totally put a foil here if you'd like.
If you want to protect the
hairline. If you want to give it a really soft, like when she pulls it up and it's a really nice
grow out.
Yeah, graceful grow out. So we're gonna do something really bold again. We're gonna take this out, drop this, and again, these are the ones that are gonna go straight down, pulling them straight out from the head. So rock that back and forth. And if you watch, I really only, if you want to call it back home, I really push down once, because when you're in the shampoo bowl, you don't want to be
fighting that. You don't want to be fighting that later.
You really don't. Okay, so then we're gonna grab our product, paint. Oh, I got you. Paint. Make sure it's really nice and saturated. Here we go. Pull it. I'm pulling my foil directly out from where it grows. So it's at a 90 as well. Okay, here we go. If you hold this down flat and you paint flat, it's kind of like if we talked about holding it down at a 0 when you're cutting hair, it's kind of like you're visually creating a solid line.
Like meaning your roots are elevated.
Yes. Can you see how this is rolled up?
Yeah.
It's being pulled up because
Versus
it's like at a 90.
Versus like pressed into the neck.
See how I pull it up, up, up? It's at a 90. That way you don't have a solid line. You can definitely start here, paint, but when you're done and you know everything's saturated, the last thing you want to do is elevate your foil. And then your last step is just do this. Yeah. Look at how I'm pulling it down. See how I'm not doing this. I'm putting the product on, but I'm pulling it down. Pulling it down. And that actually tightens the foil to the scalp. All right, so here, roll it back and forth. You can see how chunky, you see how bold these pieces are? These are bold pieces. Now remember,
so really the saturation is really super key.
Yes.
With this.
So the first thing I'm doing now are the highs everywhere. And then what I'm gonna go back and do is address the lows.
Oh, that's a smart way to work.
Yes, that way it was fun last night. Normally I do high, low, high, low, high, low. And I was like, this has gotta be, it's gotta be funner. All right, here we go. So then the next one, here we go. So here's our high and here's our low.
You're leaving out the low for now.
I'm leaving the low out. Because what we're gonna do is we're gonna over direct it. Think about the haircut. We're gonna over direct it and create shadow. So ready, team? This is our first. I'm gonna stand right where I'm at. Now I'm going to do the same, but it's not really gonna get to the root, because what we're doing is we're dragging it. When you stand and you cut, let me do this, let me get this out of the way so it's nice and clean. When you stand here, if I were to stand and pull all of this and cut it, when it goes back, that's where you start seeing your graduation. That's what we're doing, but we're doing it with color. So we have all of our brightness
Instead
through
of
the
seeing
front.
like the haircut move, we'll see like the color move.
You're seeing the color move. Okay, so let's do it again. We've got this. We're gonna drop out our shadow. See our shadow right there? Those are the two sections. I'm pulling this. See where this foil is? That's where I'm gonna back home to. So this goes to here, and it's just to the foil, the first foil. Our first foil is telling me that's where this foil is going. Then the next foil is going. Because when it drops, we're visually having graduation. Think about your haircut. Okay, so here, let's get our 1 inch. Let's take our foil.
Another top.
Here, yep. And then, come on, you got this. Come on. All right, so there's my foil. I'm looking up behind it. I'm gonna put this one just right there. I'll paint here and I'll blend up in that 1 inch. Okay, so these are the steps that we're taking to create the drag in at the root. Can you see that from here to here? That's our drag. That's when it starts to fall back. You create graduation, a visual graduation with your color. Okay, so we are using our Color Space Silver Powder Lightener. We have 20 volume. The beauty of this is you can see how the hair drinks it up. We get 9 levels of lift with this powder lightener. We have 4 active ingredients. Yeah, it's amazing. And the really cool thing about it is that it goes into the hair evenly because of that shea butter. So here we go. And I'll tell you, you get the lift. Last night, the lift that I have that you see right there. So Kel, this is where we have that 1 inch. This is where I'll blend it. Here, I'll blend it in that 1 inch. It's just like freehand painting. Hair painting is what I'm doing. I'm not making it super saturated because I don't want it to have a lot of lift. This is where my blend section is. And that's in that 1 inch. All right, roll it back and forth. Okay, so here we've got this, and you can see the drag at the root. Okay, here, let's lock that foil, here, so it doesn't move. I always lock at the top because that's where the weight is, it'll start sliding this way. Yeah, okay.
And now your next section, you're gonna take another top.
Here we go. And now it's another top. And everything goes to here. So you can see when all of this drops back down.
Your guide is the previous foil.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Awesome.
So here, look, can you see where this is? This was my guide. This is how I knew where to start this one. Now all of them go to this. And then we start doing the same thing up on top.
Awesome.
So here, see how you have all that shadow? This is you creating a shadow root so you don't have to do it when you're done.
You don't have to do it at the point.
You don't have to do it
later.
Yeah, this is gonna save you a step. So you just have to do one gloss all over. Okay, so I'm standing right where I was before, and if she had a shoulder, it would be at her shoulder. I'm taking this, I'm doing my really strong weave effect. You can use your pintail comb if you're not happy using your fingers. I'm dropping the negative space, including it into the rest of it. Everything gets pulled here. I'm gonna rough it up.
Starting at your last foil.
Where the last foil is, right there.
Awesome.
I'm gonna make a 1 inch, here we go. I'm making a 1 inch lip, push it inside there, and then I'll push this just real lightly to make sure it's nice and clean because this is where my blend is gonna happen. I just wanna make sure that and look right there. I look behind it to see where is my measurement from the last foil, and here we go.
The Color Space team left the link for the Activate 20 volume, which is awesome. I just wanted to check in. You are using 20 volume?
I am using 20 volume.
Awesome.
We have 20 volume. I do not use anything higher than 20 volume.
When would you use a 40 volume or something, or 30?
I use that with hair color. I
Awesome.
really don't use it. I don't find that, I'll tell you a little bit of science. You get the lift from the powder, not the developer. Your developer is your working time. Because our powder lightener, when I tell you we got some power in this lightener, I'm not even kidding. You don't need.
So 20 is enough.
Oh yeah, whenever we are, if you get our product and we teach you how to use the product, if you've ever used 30 and 40 with your other line, I would tell you to drop it down. So 20 is the highest. The only time I really use 20, well, that's a mannequin for one. So you have like tons of textile color on this, so I need to remove it. 2 is if your starting level is a 4 or below. That would be the only time that I would use 20 volume on this. Okay, with our powder lightener, it just gives you the most, low and slow gives you a cleaner lift. Low and slow is the ticket.
And you have to count on your saturation.
Yep, your saturation. The more you put, so the thing is about powder lighteners, when it's wet, it's working. When it's dry, it's dead. So you want to make sure it's really nice and saturated. One of the reasons why powder lighteners can stop working is because you didn't put enough on. And you can see how it started sucking into the hair. Okay, team, here we have all of these foils. You can see, and I don't know if you can get a bird's eye view of that. You can see close, a little bit further, and then a lot further. So that when this drops down, you're gonna get a V.
You're creating
the depth. Okay, so let me push this out of the way. I wanna show you what I'm gonna do to these bottom foils. And if you notice, it's the star clip that I clip the foils with. I do not clip with these. Team, we talked about tools. This is very important. If you use these to clip on hair, or on a foil that has powder lightener in it,
you're gonna undo all your work.
Yeah, you're moving it out of the way. If you clip with one of these to help move it out of the way, you don't get a line. Let me show you on this side, so because it was right next to the other. If you clip on this to move, you don't get a line. So these are what I use to help clip foils out of the way. So clip that out of the way. All of these, I'm still standing at the shoulder, remember? Mm-hmm. Remember the shoulder? I'm holding it down, making sure her head's straight and everything's right. I'm holding this down. This is my low. So I'm just gonna move this hair out of the way.
Just a quick one time?
That's it, a quickie, and put all of those in one. So I'm gonna move that. And then just put the product on there. All of this is gonna be my shadow. Okay? So I found this to be a faster way of doing this technique.
This is almost like balayage.
Yeah, it's gonna look like balayage when you're finished.
But without the mess. Please excuse me.
I mean, there's it's a beautiful
yes.
technique. But I'll tell you,
free range lightener.
Yes, if you need something fast, if your client came in and she needed something fast, a lot of times we tell our clients, oh, it's gonna take you 2 or 3 times to get your hair that light.
It doesn't have to.
It doesn't have to. It does not have to. This team, no hair left behind.
You're like, bam, $350.
Pay it right now. Okay, you can see how it's sucking up. Look at how it's sucking up the product. So I would just kind of like let it simmer, and then I would add a little bit more, roll it back and forth, roll it back and forth, make sure it's really nice and saturated. And then you can see I'm just in that,
just locking it.
Yeah, yeah. All right, so this team, those bottom 2 subsections are finished. How fast is that? And I spent a lot of time describing it.
100%.
So here,
great technique.
Here. Okay, so now I'll drop this down. We've got our highs and our lows.
And it's so clean for the client too.
Oh, it's so clean. Look, and when she's done, all you would have to do is pull all of this back, fold them back, and then she's ready. She can read or be on her phone. All right, so now the top section, here we go. We're doing the same thing, the same philosophy. So I'm gonna read her haircut. Let me make sure I'm standing right where I should be. I'm gonna stand right here at the front part of her hair. Let me lock this because I'm gonna be yanking on her.
Is that her nose?
Her nose, I'm like right, I would be right in front of her shoulder.
Perfect.
So she's looking past me. She's watching the neighbor work.
Got it.
So I'm gonna take my parting. I like using my finger because team, if you did something that was really organic, really lined out like that, you'll see lines. If you want something that's more lived in and more organic, especially if they have textured hair, using your finger, the line isn't as perfect. Okay, I'm gonna break these into 3. You can see how 1, 2, 3, just like the back, okay?
Because that's a pretty large section.
These are large sections, and you want to make sure they're large. Okay, our first section. This very first one is the money piece. Remember that money piece we talked about? This one, I'm gonna take the first subsection and split it and just take this. This team
is your 1 inch, revisiting
this
the 1
is
inch
that
at the
one.
front.
This is that brightness that's gonna happen. I'll drop down the negative space. Okay, so this is the brightness that happens. So I'm gonna take this one and just straight down to the new growth. This is the one that's really bold. rock it to the scalp, pull it out at a 90. All right. Oh,
It's fighting me today.
it's fighting me. Okay, 1 inch, over direct, slide it down, dismount with the head shape, pull this up and over. And there's a lot of our Hairbrain Lives where we do this teasing technique. If you want to check some out, we've got some. You know what I was thinking about, Kelly? The one that I really liked doing was the mannequin that we fixed all the boo-boos. Remember that Hairbrain Live? All the foiling issues?
Yes,
Yeah,
that one was intense. That one was intense. I loved it too.
That was good. That was good. All right, so here we go. So I'm gonna apply, roll it back and forth. This is the big bold piece, team. This is the one that gives you that big money piece, but I'm gonna show you something that is really fun to do because normally we'll take and we don't know how to do hidden color where, I mean, these are bold pieces, but you couldn't see it on that other side, how bold they were. And I'm gonna give you a little secret on how to do this. All right, here, fold it, lock it, pop, lock, and drop. So that's our first one. Here we go. So I'm going to take a strong weave effect. And this is what I want you to think about. On this side, I shouldn't have pulled her back so tight. On this side, if you pull her hair open, you can see how there's blonde up on top. That's tight here. Okay, this is how you do this. And this is where you get your graceful grow out. So you're gonna do your strong weave effect. 1, 2, 3. The third one is always gonna be at the scalp. Always at the part, not at the scalp, at the part. And the one that you're gonna do high is the one that's below it. Because when we back comb this one, this will be dropped down and we'll drag it, it'll just be the tip. So you won't have anything at the root. You follow?
Got it. Yes, because you have such a bold money piece underneath, you need to create depth.
You can't, a highlight's not a highlight
It's so
unless it's
intentional.
next to something that's darker in level or tone.
Yes, super
So this
intentional.
is intentional. Okay, so this one we're gonna do high.
You can't be too zoned out on a story
No.
here. You have to be concentrating.
You've got to just make sure that one is going to be at the part a low. Here, slide down, up and over. Okay, here, let's do this. Yes, you want to make sure that's the ticket to this top section, team. And what this top section is kind of like a teardrop. It's a teardrop that is at the parietal ridge. Okay, so let's roll this back and forth. Roll this back and forth. Put our product on. You know, I think Ray is watching because he wants to start doing color.
I tell you, I was almost going to bring him on camera, P. I was fighting everything
You were
I
fighting? All right, roll it back, roll it back. Make sure it's nice and saturated. Let it simmer, let it breathe. All right, team, seriously, with this big of a chunky section, you make sure that you let it breathe because you need to let that hair absorb. If it doesn't lift, if you're having problems and you're doing big chunky pieces like this and it's not lifting a lot, one could be you're not saturating it like what I'm doing. The second could be it's absorbing the hair, and you can see, team, how I pull this up at a 90. You can see how that curves. It could be that the hair isn't getting enough product. It's absorbing it. All right, so here, let's lock this one.
Plus all of their past color situations, you really need the saturation.
You really need to saturate. All right, this one, team.
This is our super intentional
We're dropping
piece.
it down. Yeah, because this is at the part. You can see this at the part. You want to hide it. This is the one that's next to the money piece. So you want the money piece to stand out. It needs to have a dark next to it. All right.
Amazing.
A highlight's not a highlight unless it's next to something that's dark in level or tone.
So now you're just moving up the 3 sections of the very large section.
So remember, now we're going to over direct it, right? So I need to make sure I take my negative space out. Here we go. This was from our previous section. Now I'm going to do the same. I'm going to take a strong weave effect, and remember, it's going to end at the top. So this, team, you can see, is going to hide her highlight.
You're adding to the depth on top.
Okay, this one, we're going to take, oh, that's a big bold piece. Hang on, time out. Let me do this. Let me redo that.
Don't get too wild now.
Yeah, I was getting crazy. Okay, here, I got really happy about showing that to you. Okay, So here we're gonna pull that
Oh,
up
yes,
and
yes,
out.
yes.
You can
This
see
one
it now.
is good.
Yeah, this one's good. Let me
This one's
clip
a win.
this out of the way. Pull this directly out from where it grows. Rough it up. Do a back comb. Rock it back and forth on the scalp. Grab your foil. Over direct it from where it grows, halfway down the hair shaft. Pull this straight down to the ground. Your dismount with the head shape. Jen Roski, she's one of our amazing, talented trainers, educators. She taught me that. Changed my life. When you dismount, follow the head shape and your foils will always stay close to the scalp.
Is the reason why you chose this liner because you want mega lift?
I want mega lift. Yes. You can totally use the green freehand.
If you're going for a supernatural, maybe kind of vibe.
If I didn't
Or
want to
more
have a lot of
natural.
lift. Yeah. I'm gonna have her put her chin down. Yeah, if I didn't need as much lift. Team, you can do this with color. We have an amazing primary high lift lightener that you could do this technique with. It depends on how much lift you want. And I really want to get out of this.
She's taking it there.
I am.
She's had a life change and now she needs some hair to change with her.
It's the holiday. This
It's the
girl
holidays,
wants some
that's
new
right.
hair. That's right.
She needs to be seen at the party.
Okay, so here. Make sure it's really, I'm gonna start moving faster because I wanna get into our glossing segment. All right, so here, foil, lock.
There's more Lupe.
That's right, there's more to come. Here we go. And then we're gonna drop the negative space. So you can see where the negative space is. Can you guys see how it's dropping forward?
Yep.
Okay, now this one, we're gonna pull to meet that foil. So, oh, for Pete's sake, hang on. Here. All right, so I'm gonna meet this foil. Here we go. So I'm gonna do a strong weave effect. This stays out. Let me clip it, because this is what's hiding the hair, right? This is hiding
It's key to the graceful grow out.
Yes, you don't wanna, this is our shadow. This is our shadow root, team. This one is our shadow root. This one is our blonding piece. Take our little negative space out, drop it down. Okay, I'm gonna go to the foil, back comb it, rough it up, back comb it, drop it down, paint. Here, make sure, roll it back and forth. And you can see they're not going all the way down to the scalp on these. This is where the shadow is starting to really happen at the crown.
And your back comb is super intentional.
Yes. I'm really moving that hair out of the way so that I have that place to paint up. Okay, roll it back and forth, pull it back and forth. And remember, so from everything that's moving from the back forward is gonna travel to there. Here we go. Lock it up so you can see where we have our drag. So lock it, lock it, lock it, lock it. There we go. Now this is the shadow that goes over that. So we're gonna drop that down. Our next section, team, I'm still standing where I'm standing.
Spot.
Can you see how now this is being over directed even
Tremendously.
further? Yeah. So here we go.
You're creating your depth at the crown.
This is it. This is how we're starting to do our, I'm gonna actually grab some of this piece right there, the corner. So I'm standing exactly where I was. I'm gonna do my strong weave effect. This is what's gonna be the shadow. So I'll move that. This one goes directly to here. So I'm moving all of that out and you can start seeing where that drag is. This is giving us that really nice right there.
And you know where to start it because of the previous foil.
Yeah. So your first foil is the one that's going to give you your guideline. Oh, there you go. Jinx. Yeah, it's your guideline. So roll it back and forth, and now you know, because this is from the back of the head, this is getting the most drag. Okay, and then I'll feather. That second one I didn't pull as forward as these, but I think we can save it. There you go, right there. I'm looking at my foil, drop this down.
Awesome.
Got it? And then I think we have one more, but guess what? I'm out of product. We're gonna have to mix some more, which is my favorite thing to do. Here we go. That, and this team is my shadow. So I'm gonna drop that down. All right, let's mix some up because we are out of powder lightener. Let's go over to this machine. This team, if you haven't seen this, and this is the first time that you've ever seen Color Space, this is the Unimix. So the Unimix, what we've done is we've mixed up our developer, and what's inside this bowl is a magnet. So this magnet dropped down, there's a plate, and then when we hit this button, it starts spinning our product around. So let's do this. Let me show you what we got. If I were to add Bond, which is a very beautiful Bond treatment, that's a multi-use product, and what is required for our on the scalp powder lightener applications, I would put this in right now. Let that spin around. And then just like cooking, here's our silver powder lightener. It's so beautiful. Pretty. It really is, and it smells so good. So I'm going to add a little at a time, and I'll wipe off all the powder off the sides and the magnet as well. Just kind of move it around. Team, this is amazing. You don't have to mix. I'm so lazy. If I have to mix color or powder lightener now without the machine, I get really like, I know. Okay, so this is what's interesting about the powder lightener. We have Plex, we have Bond in our product. So what we need to do is make sure that everything is activated. So we've got our powder lightener. I'm moving it off the bowl. I'm taking it off the magnet just to make sure that we get all those little granules out. This is the secret to getting powder lighteners to lift properly, is to make sure that this is all mixed up properly. Here we go.
This is really like picking chunks of lightener out of the...
You get the lift from the powder, team. You don't get the lift, well, I shouldn't say you don't get the lift from the developer. Your developer's the gas. We have another trainer, Maureen Bangle, has a cute saying that the developer is the gas, the powder lightener is your car. So the powder lightener is what you get your lift from. You can have a junky car and not get it all nice and shiny. I want my car to be shiny, and that's the ticket. Once you start seeing the granules go away, there's still granules in there. That means it's not activated. This could activate in a foil, and that's when you start getting puffy foils. It's because it doesn't know, it's doing its job, it's activating. Let me get it a little bit more. I want to get it super shiny so that you can see exactly what I'm talking about. I like to help and just push the powder lightener into that magnet to help it really mix. Team, this is the Unimix. The Unimix is to help mix all the intended ingredients. There we go. That's the shine that we're looking for. We want to make sure it's super shiny. All right, let's go back, finish these last ones so we can get into our toning segment. So,
super excited for toning.
I know,
segment.
toning is fun.
Toning is fun.
Okay, so I can split this in another one if I think I will, just because I don't want it to be too chunky. So here, I'm gonna take my strong weave effect. Remember, at the crown is what stays out. This is what gets backcombed, right? I'm gonna pull it forward, backcomb it, and there's my foil right there.
Your guideline, back to the guideline.
So
this
1 inch.
Is when you can get into the story
here.
now.
This is it's so much fun to think about. I love to really connect it to hair cutting because I was a hair cutter. I am a hair cutter, but
I always forget that. People,
I know. I think I cut hair really well. But all of my guidelines, when I started connecting it to what I knew and the effects that I would get with hair cutting, it started to make more sense on placement. Okay, so I'm gonna slide it down to where I see the foil, right there. Okay, and you can see the graduation. Oh, you can see the graduation, what's happening. Let me get this nice and a little bit neater.
Oh, that healthy
rock
depth.
That depth, you're gonna get all of that depth.
She's gonna be so excited.
Well, and it's so easy to do. Okay, so then our last one, and remember, what you have to remember is the one that's on top.
Save the part. Save the part.
And you don't want, and trust me when I tell you, like, there's been a time where I forgot and then she had a big chunky piece and then I had to go back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so let's move that.
We're gonna gloss, not tone, lady.
Yeah. Or recolor.
Yes.
Okay, so here we've got the 1 inch parting. So So I'm gonna make sure that this is nice and saturated. Nice and saturated. Here, 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 here. Roll it back and forth. Now, this is the beauty of the product that I'm telling you. With our regular standard 30 grams to 60 mils of developer, our product, I'm gonna pull this down till I see the foil below it. There you go. I get double, it seems like I get double the foils with my application. That shea butter really helps. All right, here we go. Now, let me grab those pieces because they're gonna be part of this. I'm gonna move all of these foils back. Move that back.
And you gather all
Drop
your
that
lows
down.
right now.
All my
The lower
lows. Here's
are
all my
coming
lows.
together.
Yep, can you see them? All the lows. Let me drop that down. Here we go. This team, now I've got all of my lows, just like what I did.
And they get packed into one foil.
Well, I think I'm gonna split these because look at how much.
They're not living.
But guess what? I'm not doing them straight down. Look at where they're going. So this angle of this foil is my guide. Look at where they're at. So I'm gonna tip.
Because that's the haircut.
Yes, and there's the haircut right there. So here we go. I'm taking them to there. Let's push this out of the way. Make sure it's really nice and out of the way. Here's my 1 inch. Here. That's gonna be my blend. Let's paint this on. Look at how lush that product is. I really, really, really like it.
If you want to just dive on in there.
Oh, and it just smells
Swim
so
around
good.
a little bit.
I know. Is it bad that I like to smell? Okay, the powder lightener. All right, so roll this.
We won't tell nobody.
Roll this back and forth. Apply. Roll it back and forth. Make sure it's super saturated. Let it have a time to simmer. Let it suck it up. And then just pull down. This is me giving it a little nice blend. That back comb is giving us a really nice blend.
It's kind of securing it onto the foil.
Yeah. And then slide it and then fold it up. Okay, so we've got that. Here, here, here. And remember, if you want to lock it so it doesn't slide, you can. And then I'm standing at the same place and look at where it's going, right to there. Can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
I'll tilt our head back right to there. So now what we have, now look at, I'm gonna back comb right to here.
One?
The guideline is here.
Oh, yeah.
See the angle
Great.
of this previous foil?
Yes.
You're always gonna use your foil in the front as your guide.
Great.
And then you're just following it. So you just visually created a lot of diagonal where your standing has a lot to do with it. How you're holding it has a lot to do with it, meaning are you holding it down or are you holding it up?
Diagonal?
The haircut's telling you exactly what's happening. If you hold it down, you're gonna get a stronger line, a stronger bolder piece. If you hold it at a 45, you'll get back combed deeper, like probably halfway through the hair shaft. And when you hold it all the way up at a 90, you get it right down to the scalp. So that's how you can create variation. Your first one can be held down, your next one at a 45, your last one at a 90, and that's where you get variation. All right, so I'm gonna roll this, get this, blend, blend. Okay, and you can see the texture that this Unimix gives you. Check that out, it's so beautiful. So we are gonna use the Unimix to mix our formula for our gloss, which I'm gonna talk about now. Here we go.
Oh, I just, before we move on to the glossing, I know I can't wait. Color Space just dropped the link of your subsection.
Yay!
So team, remember just to click that link if you wanted to go further with this.
Okay, so I do want you to capture this, Cal. You can see how all these foils,
Totally on purpose.
on purpose, everything is
It's
towards
all
the front.
wild.
It's all towards the front, and you can see the diagonal that was created from each foil. So look at how all the line is all pulled forward, and then when it falls, it's gonna fall.
swing
Yes,
beautifully. It's gonna swing back
yes,
beautifully.
yes, yes, yes.
Fab.
Okay, so I'm not gonna move those because I want to. Oh, and this is one thing that you can do as well. These little guys here, if you want them, you can keep them. If you want to put those in a foil, you can put those in a foil. These are those little microweaves that were in the very front. I am going to put them in a foil.
Where we started.
Yes, I do like to have, because
You're
we're
going for
making it
bold.
look like a very bright ombre. It's kind of like an ombre that has a shadow group. Yeah. Okay, so let's put these and then we're going on. So, team, for our glosses, and if you want to go over here, Kel, you can see, we can look at our formulas, what we're doing. So what we're using is zero ammonia-free, which is our permanent ammonia-free color. But what we're doing is we're creating a demi by how we mix it. So we're mixing it 1 to 2 with 5 volume liquid. So we're using 1 to 2 with 5 volume liquid. So we have a thing, what we train in color space, honest glossing. So we're using an oxidative dye that is what we call an alkaline demi, is what it is. So it has the ability to shift. Shift happens. So we made a 9.3. We do honest glossing. Her ends are a level 9. We lifted her to a 9. So that means we use a level 9 to gloss her hair. So we're using a 9.3 and we're using a 7.062 for her push tone or pure tone or reflection. There was one of the team, I can't remember, I'll remember her name in a second, who on our Facebook group, we have an education Facebook group, and I saw the most beautiful gloss that one of our team members did, and it is so pretty. This team is our zero ammonia free. Look at our tubes of color. They're 120 grams. The savings that you get in this 120 grams is incredible. So we mix 1 to 1.5 normally when we're using it as a normal color, a regular permanent color that's ammonia free. What we're doing today is we're mixing it 1 to 2 and we're creating a demi. So our formula, team, is 20 grams of 8.3, 20 grams of 10.3, and we have 8 grams of 7.062, and I will drop the formula in the feed, and we're using 80 mils. Let's get 80 mils of 5 volume liquid, and I'll tell you, I really do like the liquid. I put a little bit too much. Let me, I know. 6 grams, hang on. Here we go, that's a trick.
That was a great tip.
You like
right
that?
There.
You like that?
Hello. I was wondering how that was going to go down.
There we go,
Look
we
at
got
that.
80, there you go.
The money.
Now, let's mix. So, this is another thing that's amazing about the Unimix. It has a lid, so we don't have to
Then you're spreading it to
smell
your neighbors?
we don't spread it to our neighbors, but we don't inhale any of it. So this we have our mix button, but for color, we have a temperature button. And our temperature button brings this up to body temp. This brings us up to body temp.
Luxury.
So, I'm gonna ask a question. We were talking about, do we go cool or do we go warm for our holiday? I'm telling you what, this beautiful, beautiful formula is created by someone that is on our group. And she has a formula that was amazing. Her name is Megan Willman. Megan Willman, when I was looking at our group the other day, we have an interactive group. We share formulas. We do before and after photos.
Get you some stuff too.
No, I love it. I seriously, I can't even tell you how much I love it. So she has this formula, and I'm looking at it. She has gold with our mahogany.
Oh, snap it, doodle.
That's what we just did. We did gold. This is dedicated to her because Megan came up with this formula, and it is so beautiful. So do you go cool or do you go warm? I say do both.
I was thinking the same thing. I was having an internal struggle.
But what it
It
is,
seems like both.
it is both. It's
is both.
8.3, but with the mahogany, which is more of a red violet.
Yeah.
And the tone is absolutely gorgeous. So when we paint this on and we process, you see the end result, which we will post, it's just absolutely gorgeous. So I did want to share, and I did want you guys to know her name because she is a beautiful colorist, Megan Willman, and
Awesome.
she is on our Facebook group.
Dropping the knowledge.
Yep. Okay, so this has a 2-minute mix. So this temperature button brings this product to body temp. And the one thing that's pretty amazing about this is that the dermatological study on this is that it helps prevent sensitivity to the scalp.
Itching, burning,
Yeah.
any kind of sensation that's not butter.
So you can do this wet, you can do this dry. Today, obviously, I'm going to do this dry.
Is there a difference
They're
in final look?
not in the final look. I think I like glossy and wet because it goes through the hair faster. But I did want to
The
show
same
you one
intensity?
thing. I do. I either way to me
Is it the same intensity applying dry to wet in the final finish?
Yes, I do believe so. I've not seen. I think it's ease, but this is what I want to show you. So you can gloss with our zero ammonia free, and the beauty about glossing with this, and we're making it a demi. It's kind of scary at the very beginning because it's an oxidative dye, and what it'll do, chemistry is happening. So the first 5 minutes, what happens? Its oxidative color is going to process. It'll look purpley. Sometimes it'll look mauve. Sometimes it'll look green. Sometimes purple.
The chemical transaction is happening.
Violet. It's happening. So what you want to do is you go past that first 5 to 7 minutes. You cannot shampoo it off. If you shampoo it off, it'll stay at its oxidative state. Its oxidative state. So this is another one of the brushes. This is the one that has the pintail on them. I love it. I love it. Oh, and then let me show you what I call get her done. This one.
The big old mama.
Look at, let's use this one. Yeah, this one gets through. This one.
Oh yeah, we're gonna need that one.
Yeah, she's getting it done. Look, so you can see how the color is a little bit like it's starting to look a little metallic and murky. You have to just let it process.
Chemical
and after
reactions
5 to
happening.
7 minutes, and that's all you need to do. So this is the thing about glossing. In our description, we talked about tips on your glossing, and then we'll take off, and then we'll post the after photos so that you can see these. And you can see the blend in the hair as I'm taking our sections down. It's really pretty.
And you're saturating the entire head.
I'm going on to all of it. Yep, I'm going on to all of it. The thing about glossing is the longer the processing time, the longer you're giving it time to actually work. If you have a product that does suggest to stay on for 20 minutes, look at how pretty the blend is. And you can see how it's over directed. Look, that's where it was over directed, and now you can see how it goes like that.
So wonderful.
So the processing time is really what you really want to make sure that you're doing properly. It will not last long because you're not giving it time to go through its what we call kinetic energy. All color has a kinetic energy. It has a certain time where it starts to lift and a certain time where it starts to deposit. So if yours is a depositing product, you have to give it time to deposit. Okay, so here, and you can see the drag.
And the building of depth.
The building of depth, you can see that. And I do like the beauty about the color space glosses is that it will lightly shift, this formula will lightly shift to deposit the tone. So it'll give the tone to the natural. And you can start seeing, you can see down here, you can see how it's almost like a pink. Yeah, it's kind of scary. You just got to let it process. All right. So I know we are done with our time. I'm going to keep working. When we're finished, you will see the end result. We'll put this up. And then any questions you have, plug them in. And I'm always on for at least a week, and I'll give you guys some answers. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today.